Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's workshop. So today we're creating beadboard for the Rooming House Dollhouse Laundry Room. Now we're using the tall, thin coffee stir sticks, and we're making the beadboard go all the way up to the wall from the floor to the ceiling. I will be using two different lengths for my beadboard planks to complete this look or style. But let's go ahead and get this beadboard stained. Now, I'm staining them all in an aluminum pan, which helps control the mess and makes cleanup a breeze. And actually, I allowed little Gretchen to finish up this last portion. Now, I did use multiple shades of stain because I do want the wood to look a little weathered. Now, here is my template, and this is the template in the shape of the actual walls in the rooming house laundry room. Now this template has the doorway to the rooming house dining room cut out in the middle. So in the process of doing this wall, I have to leave allowance for the doorway and the door frame. So dolls, I have to make sure that the dining room doors can open freely into the laundry room. And I really love this process, dolls, because after all of your pieces of wood are cut, it's just a matter of laying them down straight. Now your template helps you to stay on task. But the biggest part and the most tedious part is cutting the little rounds off the ends of your coffee stir sticks. But I was really glad to realize that I also had some remnant pieces from when I did the beadboard and the rooming house dollhouse bathroom. Now, if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out in my playlist. So dolls, I spread Gorilla Wood glue on my paper bag template and then just use my wood spreader to kind of thin it out so it'll be even, so I won't have globs of glue coming up in between my stir sticks. Now, one thing that's really great is because my stir sticks are already stained, I don't have to worry about irregularities in my stain or color. If I get a little bit of glue on the wood surface, it's already stained. So I begin to lay down the stir sticks. Now you see here, I'm not putting it all the way up to the edge of the template because I have to leave the allowance for the door frame for the dining room door. So that's why I'm leaving that little trench there. And just gently lay the pieces down. And I really, really love this process because it covers the wall really quickly and very neatly. Now, always look at your sticks, dolls, before you lay them down, because in the process of this, sometimes you'll see sticks that aren't actually straight. Now, you see a little gap there between those two, but it's not bad because that will lend to the weathered or distressed look. But there are times where you'll get wood sticks that really are bold and they really don't lay well and they'll distort your whole design. So be very watchful and careful for that. See, like this one, it was too bold, so I had to set it aside, and I'll just use that as an applicator stick. And I continued to lay them down, making sure they were straight. And one thing I will say, dolls, keep handy something heavy to weight down your sticks while you're working because you don't want them to begin to bow or curl up while you're working on another part. So I would do a few and then weight them down and then continue to work on the other part. But definitely weight things down as you go. Don't wait until you're completely done because the glue really does set up quickly. Now, dolls, although this is a very simple process, it is not something you want to rush through. Take your time and allow yourself to enjoy the process. I know sometimes you can get anxious and want to hurry up and get to the finish, but just take your time. Keep in mind, I'm showing you this on edited video. I have definitely sped up a lot of the parts that you're looking at, but I just took my time, did little by little to make it as neat and as straight as possible. Now, dolls, you can see here where I'm checking around my door frame to make sure that I leave a big enough area to add my door frame around the door opening. It would be absolutely tragic to add this beadboard and then not be able to finish my doorway. So these are the type of things, dolls, you have to check for and be conscious of when you're finishing a wall with either paneling or beadboard. So you see, dolls, I put a pencil mark to make sure I know where to stop my beadboard design around the doorway to ensure that my door frame or trim will fit nicely. Now, best practice would be that your pencil lines meet. So, dolls, I'm beginning to lay that second length of beadboard pieces to the top of my wall. Now, these are leftover pieces from when I did the beadboard in the rooming house bathroom. I'm really glad I saved those remnant pieces. And dolls, this is another reason why I say don't throw away your scraps and your trash, because they can come in handy for another project. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, I know some of you may say, but it's stained a different color. One is the light stain and the old ones are the darker stain. It doesn't matter, dolls, because I stained it on purpose because I'm going to give it a more weathered look. I'm going to add paint to it when I complete this process. So it doesn't matter that some of the wood is dark and some of the wood is light. All of that is going to lend to the variation in my aging process. So I did use my easy cutter to trim off these little rounds from the small remnant pieces, and they worked out really, really great. And what you want to do is line them up with the longer ones on the bottom. Now, they're not perfectly straight, my bottom lengths of the beadboard, but it's fine. A little staggering is okay because I'm going to have a finished piece to cover up all those jagged edges. And I'll show you what I mean shortly, dolls. But definitely line the sticks up as straight as you can. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush through this. Again, best practice would be to cut all your lengths ahead of time so they'll be all ready when you begin to lay them down. But I was actually cutting them as I go, dolls, but it's fine. It still worked out. Now you can see here in my project where the jagged edges need to be finished. And I just laid a piece of the same coffee stir stick across the portions where the two ends, the butt ends meet. And you'll be able to cover up any kind of little imperfections. And I did have a little glue oozing, but again, dolls, it's no problem because the wood is already stained. And I'm going to paint over the wood, so the little drips of glue, they won't even be noticeable when I'm done. Now, dolls, I'm not saying just be messy with your glue, but I'm saying don't be hard on yourself if you have some oozes. It's not going to hurt your project. It's still going to come out beautiful. Now, I weighted everything down so it would dry absolutely flat, and here it is, the finished product. And I think that looks really great, and you don't see any glue spills either. Now, I just wanted to flip it on the back here, and you can see where I went over my template on the sides and the edge. And it's no problem, dolls. I can trim off any excess. I always rather have more than not enough. And I had to do the other two walls and prepare those templates as well. And when it was done, I weighted everything down so it could dry nice and flat. Now that all my templates are done, I'm feeling really, really good about the way they look. So, dolls, I'm going to take a moment and dry fit this door frame around the doorway for my dining room door. So I have two pieces of door frame that I purchased uncut, so I definitely have to miter the corners. One of those days I'm actually going to pull out my miter box. But for now, this is what I'm doing, dolls. I'm laying the piece that's already cut and measured next to a piece that is uncut. And again, this is not a best practice, but it's just one of the things that little Gretchen does. And I left that area template bare so that I would know where my door frame would go. So here I'm cutting the miter corner and the excess length of the door frame, just removing that little label. And I do have to stain it. I just wanted to get a general idea of how it would fit. Now, it fits relatively good. It's not perfect. If I had used my miter box, it would have been spot on, but it's not what I did, dolls, but I'm not worried. That literally just looks like a job for my wood putty. Now that I know that my door frame will fit, I'm actually going to just tape it into the doorway area of my template and just put it in the room just to make sure everything is going to fit nicely. Dolls, I definitely believe in dry fitting things before I glue them in. And I'm just using a little bit of masking tape. You could use masking tape or painter's tape just to put it inside the door frame to make sure it'll look nice. And I want to make sure that I'm able to swing the door to the dining room into the laundry room. And here we are inside the laundry room, dolls, and the door swings open very nicely. Now keep in mind the templates aren't glued in because I have to paint them. But I just wanted to put the hot water tank in, and I'm going to try to put these little pipes back here. And I have to be very careful because nothing is secured, and I've knocked the hot water tank over more than once. I may need to put a weight and a magnet in the bottom of it to keep it in place. But I just kind of set everything in place just to kind of give myself a feel of how it's going to look. And yeah, this looks like a tiny, cramped laundry room, hot water tank, utility room. Yeah, this is exactly the feeling I wanted to give it. And again, I'm just checking the doors swing very freely in that doorway, so I definitely sized that correctly. But I just love the way the beadboard walls look. It looks like an old cellar, old basement, old utility room. So that's exactly the feeling I was trying to get. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to aging everything and naturalizing it into the space after I've painted the beadboard. Now, if you dolls have enjoyed this video, definitely let me know in the comments. Also, like, share, and subscribe. And always look for me on Mondays and Wednesdays after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As usual, I just absolutely love creating these videos for you dolls, and I have so much more to share. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate you so very much. All your love, support, your comments, and kind words. You inspire me, and I am encouraged to continue. And I also want to say thank you to those of you who haven't subscribed, but you're watching. I appreciate you as well. So dolls, stay tuned so you don't miss the next episode of Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.